Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett, your Soccer Talk co-host, across the way from my good buddy Blake Siebers. Siebes, how are you on the other end of the bar this evening?
I'm great.
Another shout for the YouTube, because we always go to a new location.
We do, and so we got a different little setup here. Not in our garage this time, outside the garage.
Outside the garage. Very good. Well, so you're good.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a great night. The weather's been awesome. Got to see some good high school soccer this week, and then we always love guests on the pod. So, again, see what we're talking about on YouTube, subscribe, like, and then, Ben, you want to introduce us?
Yeah, right on. Well, of course, we have the Titan tactician, Matt Sahag. Matthew, good evening.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Matt. And then just on like a great whim, we've got Mr. Justin Vorster. I don't have a good nickname for him right now. I'll probably come back to you on that one, Vorster, but it's always good to see you. But
African Mzungu does well, like sometimes. Well, thanks for interfering on my steak. 30 minutes to go. Cut that out. Came down here because I thought this would be the time to do it.
Well, welcome to the pod, Mr. Vorster.
It's been a while since last state tournament, right? You came on last state tournament back in June?
No, I didn't.
No?
Especially when Ben was like asking a question with the answer in it, so I decided not to do it.
It's so critical.
I'm just joking, man.
Let's get into our game of the week this week. We covered the Dowling Catholic Maroons again, sort of by happenstance, because we've been planning to cover our Lincoln Rail Splitters, who are a super supporter of Kick It Forward in our programs. Blake, would you agree here? You looked like you wanted to chime in.
Absolutely. They joined our futsal league this past winter over at Hawks Nest. They joined the free futsal battle royale every year they've got multiple teams in. And we're kind of like getting to know some of the boys, and they are super, super nice, good. I love the boys, right, Brackett?
Yeah, no, they're great guys. We really enjoy covering them and kind of, like roughing them and following the team a little bit. And obviously we know Joe Thonrath, the coach. Blake and Matt played with him, and Justin, you know Joe as well.
Do you mind if I throw something in there? 4 years ago.
Is it about Joe?
Yeah, it's about Jojo. He took over the program 4 years ago, and credit to Jojo, he's built the program, and over the 4 year period, look at them now.
No, they're totally different squad. He took over a group that, I think they were still sort of like in the same, they were getting to that almost to state sort of level, but they're. I think that the team seems like they're buzzing a little bit, and it's fun to watch them play. Totally different style of play than I've seen them play in the past. And I think the Des Moines Public Schools this year, in general, in both 3A and 4A, are acquitting themselves quite nicely. They're doing well.
The one thing I've noticed is a lack of sort of talk about one particular thing that happens off the field, but that is the Lincoln Rail Splitters team's grades, right?
This is a good one.
We talked about it.
So last year, I think, or 2 years ago, they have like too many guys ineligible, right? Like 5-7 guys.
And that was sort of the difference for them.
It seems like they got that figured out. Like, you actually have to get good grades to play soccer. And so there's obviously something going on behind the scenes where that message is sent, because that's not a topic of discussion this year, which is awesome for those guys. So keep it up, guys. I know that we've been following you guys now for years, and that's always just been sort of this issue for you guys. You've got good teams, and then for whatever reason, someone's failing a class. And so this year we're not hearing about that, which is awesome. And then I think that's, in addition to what Justin said, a huge reason why you start seeing success. I mean, again, like, you're a student athlete, so the grades go with the soccer. So I love that we're not talking about that, except for
In a positive light.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so the original plan was to watch them play on Friday night against Mason City, and it just so happened that Blake, Matt, and I also all happened to be on hand in Windsor Heights, West Des Moines, to watch that game in person. So we just figured we'd maybe talk about that one, because it was also a very, very entertaining game. You've got Dowling, who is, sort of fighting to stay in that top 5, but consistently finding a way to do so. And then Lincoln, on the other hand, fighting to stay in that top 10. And it was a great little game. Anybody over there, Blake? What'd you think about the game? You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, my main priority is the weather, right? What an absolute gorgeous game. Great atmosphere, great environment. I think, like, Matt, I'll give you a little chirp here, but the Dowling girls, you guys got done playing. You guys all showed up kind of, I don't know, midway through, halfway through. But the stands, Ben, you were up there in the press box on Iowa Catholic Radio. The stands were
I think that's 105.5 on FM. I saw
Well
that
done.
in somebody's front yard today on a yard sign. So
But it was a great crowd, like, right? Like, there was an atmosphere. I will say again, like, Lincoln, JoJo, we've been to County Lincoln, Roosevelt in the past for shootouts. Absolute pandemonium. As a neutral, I love excitement. I love an atmosphere, and it
Dowling
provided
tends
it.
to bring it. Like, they've got a nice little setup over there on their campus, and playing on campus is super cool, right? And I don't think it seems like not every school has that opportunity, and I think when you do it, it adds a little buzz. And so Lincoln came out. I was asked to predict the game early on. I was thinking it was probably like a 2-1, and that was me being optimistic, I thought, in favor of Joey. I thought they would lose by 1 goal because Dowling would just be too much. But Dowling's team they're pretty thin, aren't they?
That's definitely a one way to say it.
I don't think Jackson Teeling would agree with you.
I think he would. I think he knows that they play 13 to 15 guys every game. So, I mean, they're not playing 20 guys a game. They're not getting all the way through their lineup, and I think that you can tell that it changes.
Yeah, I mean, should we talk about Foth, right? Like,
Yeah,
talk
you got
about
one of your-
super
I was
cool
going to
story.
throw that in there as
Go
well.
ahead,
yeah.
Butty, then.
No, carry on.
Okay,
on.
so
Yeah.
John Foth, center back, captain. I mean, he's been a player, right? We've seen him for the last couple of years. Bone marrow transplant for his sister, and now he's
Ava.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in the hospital to get that done. And I don't know. I mean, you want to talk about
Sacrifice.
yeah, and like
leadership.
real life experiences. Like, what an absolute unbelievable story. So well done, John.
Yeah, check it out in the register if you haven't been following that story. It is really cool, and they've got the whole squad and the whole soccer program and the whole school behind them.
Yeah, the thing that really struck me about that is I guess what hit home for me was when somebody told me the amount of injections into his hip that he had, right? I think it was like something like, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but it just, I mean, I'm sure it is, but to me it sort of gives you like a symbol of like what a big deal that is. But someone said like 60 injections in the hip for your sister. Like that's pretty cool. I mean, that's somebody who obviously cares and loves his sister.
And then
That's pretty awesome.
the humor about John is it felt like doing 1,000-pound deadlift, and that's just John for you. He's such a great kid, and he's in his senior year, he could have played, but it's for family, and I think that's so important. So credit to John. I've been praying for the family. The family's amazing, and I'm hoping Ava breaks through this.
Definitely. Big plug too. There was obviously a bunch of different stuff out at the game for the guys' night. I didn't know this, but last night I walked into the locker room before our game, and all of our girls had yellow ribbons on the back of their hair for Ava too. So I think it's obviously a huge lift for the family, but it seems like the Dowling community and the soccer community specifically is rallied around them. So it's a pretty cool story.
Let's not forget the fundraiser they did last night with Norwalk as well. To raise
Absolutely.
funds, yeah. So I thought that was fantastic because it was on both ends. I believe with the Crawl family and obviously with Ava, and I thought that was brilliant. I was at the game. It was entertaining. So
Dowling again, they just love a 1-goal game, don't they?
Jonathan Mendez last minute,
So before we get into Jonathan Mendez and like the sort of last minute antics of
it was actually 5 minutes.
well, sure, but the late game antics that
Last 5, Ben. This is your thing. I
It's
thought
my
you would've
favorite.
said
No,
that,
of
but-
course, but let's
Brown University.
Let's talk a little bit about Lincoln and just how they sort of brought it to Dowling straight out of the gate. I think that I was sitting up there in the booth, and like as part of being in the booth for Dowling Catholic Radio, you're obligated to be relatively biased, and I have a tendency to research the opposing teams and put a little bit of effort into trying to talk about whoever Dowling happens to be playing that night. And so that night I got a lot of opportunities to talk about the Lincoln Rail Splitters and Joe, because they were doing some really interesting things to play against one of the best teams in the state and make it difficult for them.
I mean, I think you got to talk about how they first started the game. Man-marking
please.
Mendez. I can't.
So say that again. Man-marking Mendez.
Literally all over the field.
Triple M, baby.
And
That's the
I'll
key.
say,
Who's marking him? Who's marking him?
Mava DeCory, the number
JoJo.
21.
Yep. Massive athlete, strong, very good soccer player. Man marked him for the first until he got hurt.
It's a 40-minute half, so 35 minutes of that.
And then, right, so Mendez, I mean, we like Jackson, we like Garrett, we like Wes. They didn't know what to do. And to me, they gave the blueprint, because Mendez ends up as a left back at one point, because I think there's a little frustration, just not knowing what's going on. And then Lincoln wins the ball and starts attacking Mendez as left back. And if you got him as playing as your left back, you've done well, because you want him as far away from the goal as possible. And game plan for the first 40 minutes was very good by Quinlan, Joe, Tony, and they did really, really well until he got hurt. And they should have been up 1-0 right away.
So, question for you: Why was he playing left back then? And
Frustrated, he just didn't know where to go.
Well, yeah, it was as the game was happening, and I'm not going to weigh in on how it was, but at a certain point, it was just very obvious that this Mava DeCory was just going to white on rice, man. It was like he was holding his hand the whole time. It was all over him. It was great.
And not in a bad way, right? Like he was very, like
he was just like not giving him a breath. And so Mendez was forced to sort of like try and disappear and whatever. And at a certain point, you could tell he just like walked over the bench, and that was basically left
Remember he
back.
came off too, Ben? Like, they subbed him out for
walked over, talked to
10
them,
minutes.
and then they walked back in, and they pulled him off, and they talked to him. I think
so. From a mentality standpoint, how do you deal with that as a player? I mean,
it's tough.
You've got to deal with those situations. Yep. I mean, teams are going to do that, right?
It's not easy, and I don't think that DeCory was like.
So DeCory played with his emotions, forced him into left back, and then forced him off the field with a substitution.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is the thing that's funny about it, and I don't know. I mean, I would love to. Yeah, I would love to. Like, this would be a great opportunity to criticize Mendez, but he comes off. You can see he's not happy. Teeling talks to him. He goes and he sits down, takes a drink of water, comes back, sits at the end of the bench, and just waits until it's his turn, and then goes back on. Gets chased around a little bit more. DeCory goes down with like a rolled ankle or something with about 5 minutes left. And granted, Lincoln scores like immediately thereafter, but then Mendez scores immediately thereafter. And so it's 1-1. And it's like, I mean, literally the only time he was able to touch the ball without somebody holding his hand or, you know.
So my question is, okay, so Mendez has to deal with that. He ends up man-on-man at left back. So who's doing the counter movements into the 9 position? Who's pushing in there? I mean, yeah, it's okay. Space arrives somewhere else, so you create space. Who's taking advantage of it? You can't be a one-man team, you know?
No, of course not. But this is what I'm saying, though. Is I think it was like he took a little bit of advice. He moved around. He changed the way he moved a little bit.
Fair enough.
And like,
yeah.
And this is where, I mean, Blake and I talked about this. Anytime DeCory wasn't on the field, like that was when he scored, right?
A little bit of the Teeling magic. Is that what it was?
I don't know if it was Teeling. I think it's Mendez magic, but that's just me.
Fair
I mean, no offense, Teals.
Yeah, they did. They figured it out. I mean, I think they did. I think caught him off guard, which I was a little surprised about. Go ahead.
So why
Matt.
was he off though then? Like
to try to figure it out?
Did he ask
No,
to come
I'm
off?
not talking about Mendez. I'm talking about, you said that whenever
So he was yellow carded in the second half as well.
Right, but so then you can come right back on as a yellow card. So why is he off when
I
Mendes
love that
scores?
rule.
That's
big
one.
questions
So I
for the
think
gaffer.
Yeah, so I think two things here. So just to give some backstory, Xavier from Lincoln scores an absolute screamer to go 1-0 up. What, Ben, like 20 minutes in, halfway through, approximately?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe a little later. I'm not 100%
And it's like a little
sure.
knuckler. Goalkeeper doesn't. I mean, it's from distance. Blake thinks the goalkeeper could have done better. I think it was a great strike.
Yep. So again, they go 1-0 up. Dowling doesn't really have much of the ball. Mendes gets in behind once because he's always going to. And then Decore gets injured in the last 5 minutes, comes off the field. Lincoln has to change it because he's off. And guess who comes rescuing Dowling in the last 5 minutes of the first half to completely change the complexion of the first half? Mendes.
And Lincoln had just gone 1-0 up.
Correct.
Right? But that's momentum in the game. You get a little bit fatigued, tired. You think you're ahead. Time till half time. I mean, it happens all the time.
Matt, have you guys given up any goals in the first 5 or last 5 recently?
Yesterday.
What was the halftime talk like?
Oh, yesterday was different. We give
Or what is that? What is this? What
this
is
is
the
going to change
halftime
the
talk
subject. This is going to change the subject too much. So we had a
Let's not get in there yet.
yeah. So change
I'm
the
just
subject
asking,
back. We had a
like-
tough first half. So the halftime tea talk yesterday for us was not about the first 5, last 5. It was about the entire first half.
Okay, but so in the scenario where you're like, let's just put you in that scenario.
Yeah.
You're Teeling, or you're Joe Sathonrath. What are you thinking after that hectic little end of the half?
What I'm telling my team, I think any team, is you've just got to simplify things. In those moments where you get to a point where there's stress in the game or tension in the game, like for the Dowling girls, and again, it may be different from the guys and the girls, and depending on the level, but I'm telling them things like control the ball, like don't play one touch, play the way you face, play simple, be patient, like keep the ball, stuff like that. Take the sting out of the game, like don't panic, don't be frantic. I think that those are the things, win the 50-50 balls.
Those all sound like
things,
they might be relevant in the game that we watched.
Probably. I think they're relevant in any game, right? Those are the principles, I think, the
Forster.
basic principles when
I'm
you
about
play.
to chime in. But
For sure.
ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
it's just
Justin.
like you
But
look
my
like
question
you're itching.
is why can't they keep the ball? We spoke about this, Matt, privately over a steak. We spoke about it, and your
When was
frustration.
this?
You weren't invited, but it was just joking, mate. It was a couple of weeks ago actually, and you brought us some good points and how you had to change the way you play, go a little more direct to get the ball in the other half as early as possible, because the build-outs weren't right. Phase 1, phase 2, and you kept losing the ball. I know we spoke about it, but don't forget, this is year 1, man. All right? By year 3, I expect you to be winning it. Is that a little much to ask, guys?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. I think, though, that...
No
that,
pressure.
Yeah, right. But that, getting back to, first 5, last 5, right? Isn't that the same
But these are like
across the
principles that
board?
you then establish within your team. So like we talk about that because we've all played within teams where that's been like a discipline that is required. Like, nope, you just don't give up first 5, last 5. That's just not what you do. Now you're going to be able to establish that within your team.
But I think it's a culture that...
That's what I'm saying. Like he's going to build it. He's going to...
Yeah.
So in
this is
year
interesting.
3, Vorster,
Culture
he's going to...
values equals
Yeah,
behaviors.
yeah, that's yeah. I
So
think
Ben,
you're
we
on-
went
right
to
on.
Iowa City West Dowling earlier in the season. Remember, Iowa City West scores in the last few minutes of the first half against Dowling. So they're on. It's kind of changed a little bit. I don't know. Interesting, but I would say, it's your question. I would say Joe and Lincoln would be disappointed in the first half because they
They could have walked in there
head and
1-0 up.
shoulders, the
and they were
team.
better for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but just I've been looking at the screen while you guys have been talking, and I'm looking at the marking of Dowling and the offside
interesting
decision.
shape.
I'm just looking at it, so having to bring it up.
Okay, so let's keep going though. But yeah, I like it because we're gonna get there,
so
and
this
you're
is
gonna
in the
be
second half,
yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So okay, so
So
we
Dowling
go to-
should be up 2-0. Or sorry, Lincoln should have gone up 2-0, I thought, because Hernandez misses the sitter, and then somebody else missed another one. So I thought they had two great
Lincoln had
chances
two
to go
really
up
good
2-0.
chances. They hit the football bar. You know, the football.
It's called the upright, I think.
There you go. Jesus, sorry. But so
Yeah, so Brandon, yeah, I mean, Hernandez is a good little player and missed it. 2-0, now it's 1-1 at halftime, and Decore's back on
he's back on,
for the second half.
and it starts very similar. I mean, it's tight, but then they've also brought like the number 3. I think is it Garisha was his last name. He was the one who subbed for Decore in that last 5 minutes, and so then they came on
Yep.
and played together at the beginning of the second half, which I liked that pairing actually a lot. But it would seem like they, as a result of their first half endeavor, they were like sharing the duty of covering Mendez, and that you just can't do that, in my opinion. I just think you can't leave him alone like that, because he's going to just disappear if you're not fully communicating. And we've got some whispers going on over here. What do you got, guys?
Take it over, boys.
Well, we're skipping ahead here. We're actually all the way to the end of the game. So
Okay, well, let's
I don't
wait
think
a
we
sec.
can do
So
that.
So let's go back. It's 1-1, second half. Ben from the radio box.
Yeah, I mean, I
It
thought
was 2-1, doesn't it?
It does, and it's I mean, Dowling is just like, Mendez is just like very good at popping up and finding space, and they are dialed in. Dowling is to wherever he is, so they're trying to play into the channels, find his feet. And I mean, I was joking, but like, and this is dorky, but like if you're like a Harry Potter fan, I mean, it was like he was, Harry Potter and the Snitch, like he's trying to just like hide, and then all of a sudden wait until he could just pounce on it, and he's so good at it. And I've seen enough guys play this year that I don't think there's anybody like him. And then the thing that I thought was so great is that, again, his attitude has changed entirely. He's dropping deep to get the ball. When he loses it, he defends. He used to not do that. He was not interested.
Yeah, you had to go at him last year. Remember, you got scolded.
I did get scolded.
But you're right. I mean, you got to give credit to him, right?
I love his attitude. And so, like, even though he didn't necessarily know exactly what to do, or he was looking to his coaches, as soon as they gave him some ideas of things to do, he did it. And 2 goals and assists, 3-2 win.
So can we talk the yellow card really quick? Because that changed it when, I don't know, Matt, is that right? Really quick?
Yeah, that's exactly.
So
the
Decore
next
gets yellow card
defining moment of the game.
first foul of the game for chasing a guy all over the pitch.
First foul of the second half, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
but it
he
was
fouled,
his
yeah.
first foul of the game
Okay.
and gets booked. So he's got to come off. All right, Joey, I'll come after you here. I think he's got to go straight back on because he came off for 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Joey's
I
nodding.
have a
in the
question.
background.
How bad was the foul?
It wasn't. It was just. It was all. It was a
it's a
bunch of like
foul.
little.
But I've noticed this in high school. Like the referees are giving yellow cards on the first foul, and then there's a second one later in the game, and that's a red, right?
Correct.
If you're going to give it,
if they're going to give the first
no,
one.
honestly, if you're going to give it, give it.
Yeah.
Matt, you've
But they're
talked
not.
about this though, right? With the essentially counting of the. Wow.
Someone's stealing my car.
Live action. This is a live show.
All right, sorry about that, folks. We had some outside noise there, but we're back in. So Decore gets a second yellow just to refresh really quick. Goes off. Mendez, weird, scores another one. Great little goal. And then we get into the controversy
How long was he off though for?
for the yellow card. So I had just said that he comes off for 5, 6, 7 minutes.
And why doesn't he come right back on? Do we know?
That's a question for the boss.
Well, I had a conversation with the boss.
Okay. What did
Okay.
he say?
He twisted his ankle, so he needed a little bit longer rest. I mean, he was injured.
You tape it.
He's done such a good job, though. So this is where I would say he had done an unbelievable job
Are you criticizing
doing his
Goza?
job. He was tasked with the
I think
What's
he's talking
the deal?
about Decore. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's one of those, like, you got to have the confidence or the drive to just be like, dude, I don't care about my ankle.
But that is
But
why.
how bad was the
But hang on a
injury?
Why
second.
don't- I mean,
he was
you
good.
know,
He
we
was
don't
good
know
after
how
it,
bad
though,
the
too.
Justin,
injury
but he
was.
did come back on, and he was fine. He was
That's
great.
why I dislike this rule, though, right? Because he's getting a yellow card, and maybe his ankle's hurting, but you don't come off the field after you get a yellow card, even if your ankle's hurting, like unless the referee tells you have to. And so there's not a purpose to this, like exiting the field to come back on. It's just not a punishment. And so like I think like for a player there, right? And like there was no malice in his yellow card, right? So you get a caution, you're on a caution, and the player just plays through it. If you take him off, now all of a sudden there can be a million excuses for him not to go back on. The coach could make a different decision. The player could say, well, I need to go see the trainer. The player could not appreciate like the fact that he needs to get back on to go Mark Mendez. I just think that rule changes so many things. And on top of it, every time one of the players that I've been coaching has gotten a yellow card, I say, what was that for? I say, oh, okay, well, go back up, get back to the line and get back in the game. So it's just.
I hope, Matthew, that you then report your concern about this rule to
Advisory.
your authority, to your advisory authority,
Committee, yeah.
or whoever that is, and then let them bring it up. And I mean, I think that's what all these coaches need to do. I mean, that's a rule that most are going to agree on.
Well, they're trying, right? The state associations. We talked to Todd
exactly.
and Gary. They're trying. They're listening.
They
So
are
the
listening.
coaches
That's what I'm saying.
again
The coaches
need to say because we got right. We're getting there. Baby steps. It used to be 5 minutes.
Yep.
This year, they at least can go right back on. So they didn't take it all the way away. I would agree, Matt, 100%. But
So
We're
let's
getting
just
there.
talk then. Speaking of rules, one rule that was not changed this year was this 4 red card in a season rule. So if a team receives 4 red cards in any capacity, whether that's in one game, the whole season, to their coaching staff, to their playing staff, they forfeit the entire season. We saw it happen last year with Iowa City Liberty. Who else? There was somebody else.
We talked about it last pod.
Well, I know, but there was another team that it happened to.
Yeah, and there's a huge element to this game as well that involves that, right? Because Dowling's on 3 red cards, so there's definitely. Maybe I'll save it for a little bit, but I want to talk about.
Well, I thought we talked about the yellow card, red card question.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I mean, I think late in the game here, I think Dowling's season potentially almost ends late in the game here. That I'll talk about. But I don't want to get ahead of.
No,
Matt,
you're
ahead of
great.
what's going on.
Timeline's good.
But also, Matt, the yellow card situation. I've seen yellow cards pulled in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it has an effect later on in the game where the same player commits a foul that's worse than the first one, and it's not given. It's a red card, right? So referees, officials just need to let the game play. Talk to the players.
Right.
That's what they want to hear. Talk to them. Warn them. You do that again, it could be a yellow. There you go. Because there's so many emotions going. It's on a
You had
Don't
this
just pop
experience.
the yellow card though.
right, Matt, you've had this experience. We won't go into
Yeah.
it, but like same thing. So, all right, Remember that when
Of it,
Yeah.
multiple times. I mean, I think the
you got booked
again.
recently?
I did get booked. The referees are controlling the games with yellow cards. You can control the game in lots of different ways than just showing yellow cards. You control the game by being close to what's happening, by talking to the players, by just by
But you're
forming
right.
a relationship with them. You can control the game with your whistle, like just I mean, I don't know, just blowing the
Well, there's
whistle.
a major
or-
difference when you have a small rapport with a player. At least
Yeah.
you can like.
I mean,
Tell 'em
I've
to
seen
knock it
more
off.
cards pulled out in a high school game than in a casino, to be honest with you. It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, but it's building rapport, right?
Build
As a
a
player,
rapport,
you
yeah.
get along
Yeah,
with referees,
exactly.
and like they're not gonna whatever.
Well,
so,
but at a certain point, like you're trusting them to run a good game, and they're trusting you to not be a punk, right? Like that you're gonna follow their rules and play by
the
the
boys are
game, playing the
competing.
game.
Can I say
competing.
something as
Yeah.
well? But we may get some pushback from referees here, but let me tell you a different observation I've had of the season. After every game now, the referees disappear immediately after the game. So if you go to try and shake the referee's hand after the game, they're gone.
There's
So-
a problem there, Matt.
So
There's a problem.
You gotta have a relationship.
because I've looked for them, and so they
It's like almost like having a fight and being like, okay, it's cool.
you go through, the players all shake the hands, the referees are gone, and I don't know what they've been told or not, and maybe it's some sort of issue, but I would like to see those guys stick around, even if you may not want to shake their hands, I think it's still like a gesture because it's a relationship issue. But I think that all plays into this four red card rule debate, and like a lot of different yellow cards happening where the game could be managed differently. And I don't think we would be having this discussion if there wasn't the four red card rule.
No.
But it's a thing.
So you're telling me 4 red cards and Dowling are on one more.
Yeah. So if
They're done.
like, I mean,
That
yeah,
just goes
any-
to show how the cards are flashing out with the officials during games. I'm sorry, man. I've been to games and I've seen some of the fouls, and they're not.
Well, and we know from just enough conversation and feedback that the rule is meant to sort of stamp out the idea of like a bench clearing brawl.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Like,
Yeah.
and so for whatever, I mean,
But
you know
that's
what?
the coaches as well. They can handle that.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, and I think like, what is it? If you, how many red cards in a game before the game's suspended? Is it 4 to get you down to 7? Can you play with 7 on 11, or do you,
Yeah, you can put that. At least that was the rule for a long time. I don't know if it's changed.
I just wonder if that had anything to do with it.
So can we go to this? Let me go.
So
to
yeah,
this-
so late in the
taking the
game.
foul.
Let's get back to
There's
the
like-
real
So
deal.
good. So
the game.
Molina scores for Dowling to go 3-1 up. Again, Mendez involved assists, and here we go, boys. Here's the clip.
So it is. It's 3-2, right?
So currently
Yeah,
3-2
it's 3-2,
right now.
Yeah,
correct.
there's a minute left in the game, and we'll get into this too. Sorry, we're not going necessarily like in a chronological order here, but Lincoln has actually scored to equalize and has had it called back for offsides when it wasn't.
Well, it was debatable.
Yeah,
Well,
but
we'll get there. But
But
keep
so
going,
here's
man.
what happened. So there's a minute left, and it's just scored sort of just a random play around midfield, and
Right in front of the benches.
Yep, the ball comes into Lincoln's player. He has kind of a clever little touch, plays it over a Dowling player, and Molina is able to beat the player in front of him, right? And so it looks like Molina is going to get the ball. So Lincoln's player, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think it's a foul, but he takes his left arm, he pulls his left shoulder here, and then he like swims around with his right hand, and he gets in front of him, right? So what's Molina do? Well, his leg goes up to try and play a bouncing ball. The Lincoln player's head goes down, right? Look at that. The foot does not connect with the head, okay? It does not connect with his head at all, and the Lincoln player's head is down. And what does the Lincoln player do? He goes down as if he's been shot in the face, but he hasn't. He hasn't been touched. And so now he's playing for it, right? He's playing for the yellow card or the red card, and the red card ends their season. So I'm not criticizing the Lincoln player here. I mean, I don't think he needs to play for this much. I don't think he gets touched here.
Are we commending the refereeing?
But I think everybody on this field knows that a red card ends their season.
Question did
And the referee knows it as well. And so the referee comes over, and credit to the referee, who's Chris Civitat, who's a good referee. He's been around for a long time. He gives him a yellow card. Now, so there's...
Was it a yellow card?
Was it a
So-
yellow card though?
No, it was, to me, it was a foul on Lincoln.
Was it just a foul? No
Simulation.
Card,
No, to me, it was a foul,
Foul
on
the
Lincoln
first time.
because he pulled him back, and so then Molina's leaning back, and so his leg goes up. And so in addition to that, like the Lincoln player's head goes down while Molina's head comes up. So if there's a dangerous play, it's the Lincoln's player's head going down. And you can debate that backwards and forwards, right? Because if you're talking to the Lincoln guys, you're like, no, that wasn't a foul. He can do it. Blake's going to probably say the same thing. Also, it is a high kick. And so, but the point is, that player went down as if, I mean, I was at the game. Everybody thought that might be a red card. I mean, everybody was up going, what is the color of this card going to be? And if it was red, Dowling's season was over. Thankfully, the referee was wrong but reasonable and gave a yellow card.
So, where did the ball end up after that throw in? I just want to have a look again.
I mean, as you have a
There
look,
were two players competing for the ball, which I thought was fair. when you look at the modern game?
It's a foul on Dowling.
And what do you think about that, Justin Vorster?
Let me have a
Yeah,
look.
here you go.
Let me have a
Let's
look.
see.
So
Ball's out of bounds.
when you said on Dowling, so Lincoln's ball? Is that what you're saying, Siebes?
They called the foul.
For who?
They called
It
the
was a
foul for Lincoln.
Against Dowling. Lincoln free kick.
See, to me,
I think fair enough.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does the Olay,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Fair
Like-
enough. From what I'm seeing, Molina does well to get his body in front of it, in front of the defender.
Lincoln
But-
Boy does even better.
he gets pulled back.
Put his head in there. It's a free kick
He committed
any day,
himself.
every day of the week.
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Civitan has done so well.
I was
Look at
gonna
his
say,
angle
for the
too.
referee to
I think the
not-
referee can get a bit closer though. He's a little.
He's got a
about-
linesman, doesn't he?
He's
Not
blinded
there.
there.
That is a free kick every single.
What's wrong?
I would
Day
say
of the
free
week.
kick definitely to Lincoln.
Correct.
Yep.
What's wrong with his boot there though?
So
look at his head is down.
Who received
Shin
the
is-
yellow card there?
The Molina is the Dowling player.
I don't think anybody should have received a yellow card. Just
That's what
leave
I'm
it.
saying.
Give a free kick and play on.
Right.
It's a free kick.
Am I right?
I would argue it's a yellow
You're not
card
wrong.
because again,
No.
just because his boot doesn't hit him in the
But
face.
was it on purpose?
No, not at all.
It wasn't
There's
on
no
purpose.
intent.
Look, two players going for it. No yellow card.
Why is
Free
his-
kick Lincoln. Play on.
Why is his head down? Look at
How
his
does he
head.
give a yellow
He's going to
card? Look,
head
he's
it.
25 yards away.
So here you go.
He's
This is
25
Ethan,
yards
This is our
away.
thing.
It's
This is our.
devolving.
This like you making. This is the put the pull out.
But-
But he's literally going to head the ball.
Can you guys? Can I ask you this? Watch
We
this.
saw-
Watch this. Watch this. Molina's ahead of him. Look at his left hand. Watch.
Olay?
So just watch. Left hand there. Right hand over. Right.
Olay.
Like he pulls
Nobody
him back.
complains, Matt. Though nobody complains on Dowling for a foul.
Of
Not
course
one
not.
player on Dowling. So again, let the
Hey,
players call the game.
producer Evan,
It's part of the game.
So
It's-
the questions are: is it a foul?
It's a foul on
Is
Lincoln.
it a yellow card? Is it a red card?
Not a
Is
yellow
it a
card,
dive?
and it's a foul to Lincoln's
Is
free
it play
kick.
on?
So again, I just had to go with the ref. Civitat, you did really well. I thought it was perfect. Did it? Nobody complained.
No, it
Not
was
one
good.
person complained. Other
And
than
so
you,
then,
Matt.
No, of course. Yeah.
I watched that in live time, and the yellow card took a long time to come out, and so everybody was in
Joe's so
suspense.
upset in the bottom of that screen. So
I mean,
good.
Molina could have headed
That's a
it.
different one. That's a different one.
By the way, Matt, Molina could have headed it.
Credit to the Lincoln player for his commitment, resilience, and coming around to win it.
Yeah.
All
He's
right, so-
genius, right? Like,
All right. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just tie it all up
I
then.
know.
so this will be good. We got to get really quick. One quick one.
Okay.
We got to talk about the
Number 8.
quote equalizer. Do we have
Yeah.
time for
Oh,
that
yeah,
really quick?
absolutely.
Because this is the bigger controversy. Lincoln scores.
I'm not trying to be against Lincoln here because I'll flip the other side. Second,
Says the
I
Maroon
want to add one more other
coach.
point in too. There was a point when the game was tied, and Mendez gets fouled in the box by his man Mark. 100% gets fouled in the box. Referee does not call it. They should have had a penalty. But now let's flip before I get debated there. Let's go to the
Can't wait to
offsides
see
call.
this piece. I'm excited.
Pretty good.
Okay, this is where the game turns, isn't it?
You do.
Or stays the same course because they called it.
So it's 3-2. There's 6 minutes and 49 seconds left in the game, right? So here's what happens. The ball goes back into, gets kind of played into Lincoln's back 4 at the time. And Lincoln give a half clearance that goes around the midfield line. Now, to me, the issue is with the center back for Dowling, who gets caught watching the ball as it gets played back into around central midfield. So we're looking at a still right now, and I don't have the video pulled up, where Joe's 2 wide forwards are being man-marked, who are both like touch tight and square, and there's no pressure on the ball, right? And so then Dowling's center back is ahead of those two, right? And he's watching the ball because it's just been cleared back there. And so instead of conceding space and dropping off to make sure they don't get beaten behind, I think 3 Dowling players are watching the ball, and the Lincoln player makes a very well-timed run past the left back for Dowling, and Lincoln's player from the midfield line just plays the ball in behind him, and Lincoln's player is off to the races, and he actually controls the ball. Goalkeeper comes out and he slots it right corner, just like he should. Now, he is clearly onside. He's inside. He's onside by a yard. The linesman is in a good position to see it. Joe Sathonarat, the Lincoln head coach, is in a good position to see it. He's actually in the same position. And so as the ball gets played through, the ball hasn't been scored at. We see Joe's hands go on his head. He knows because he sees the flag's gone up that has been called off sides, and the player finishes it. And it was a goal. It should have been a goal. And so it's on sides. Now, that would have equalized the game with 6 minutes left in the game. So it's a huge turning point.
Butchie tuck to crawl, get his back line sorted out here.
Yeah, definitely needs sorting out. I mean, no pressure on the ball, like Matt said.
Let me pull this up for you, too.
Centre back, drawn in areas where he shouldn't be. Should have just dropped back into the line, especially when you play three at the back. So you've got to be organised, and this communication as well. But you look at the two Lincoln players that are inverted inside the
Is that inverted?
left centre back, inverted goal. So they are goals, ball side instead of the defenders.
Here, Justin, here it is. So, sorry to interrupt, but here it is. So the ball comes in, first ball there.
That's a midfielder jumping in or just rotation.
Yeah,
Then that ball there.
right.
So the question is he onside? I think so, based on the run. And you watch this again. Look at when the ball's played. I mean, it's a split second. Do we have VAR? No. He's onside.
Also, if the
He's
the
onside
center
when
back,
the ball's played.
if the center back there
But-
with the white boots doesn't take, see where he is. He's
There's the ball. Look at the ball being played.
He's already been. Yeah, he's on.
But so if that center back is like 4 steps
but-
backwards where he should be,
Should
he
be
probably,
tucked inside. So
Yeah.
look at the left centre back. The centre back's out of position, so no man's land. You can forget about that. But the left
So it's
the
both
left
of
centre
them.
back and the right centre back. Look at them both. Yes,
Both.
I think
neither of them is goal side.
yeah, neither of them. I mean, that's
Neither of them's goal side.
principles of play. Compact.
Well, and so then
Compact.
there you go too.
It's
like
easy.
The center back there, the white boots, like he could be dropped off to a little deeper. I think that's Ethan April. It's just one of those like I just
But the
remember
two,
this.
the left centre back and right centre back.
So that's what you're focused on.
I'm
right?
focused on them because the centre back's out of position.
Yeah.
He's done. He hasn't dropped in where he should have. There he should have dropped in, right?
It's one of those like if you
Okay.
go.
No, he's
if you go to
watching the
the
ball.
step
Watch him
previous-
watch the ball here when he gets played in first. Watch the center back. Now watch the ball.
And
Instead of-
look at this.
Oh,
so
no.
you see the left centre back, the right centre back standing still. They have to be. Their next action is you're under pressure. The ball's going to get played long in behind. Drop. Just drop.
But three boys do not need to go attack one ball.
So,
No.
when I look across the
No.
line here,
Right,
I
right.
see a potential back four. We'd have to rework ourselves a little bit.
To your point, Steve.
But if this was our
So-
back four though, Justin,
So here you got to determine is that the midfielder
that.
jumping
Yeah,
in?
three.
Too challenging, right?
That's 3.
That's
You have
the
a
centre.
central midfield is dropping backwards trying to head a ball. They're never going to win it. You have a big, strong center back running forward. The boy's going to win the ball. Get out of his way. He needs to say something. You don't need 3 players to win one ball. But, Ben, yeah, I like how you're going here.
I was just gonna say if you look at us as like a back four, obviously you'd
3
probably
left-footed players on the left side.
You'd have Justin in the middle
Just
on the left
if-
side, Matthew on the left back, and then Blake and I would figure it out on this side. But my only point being,
Would be a shambles. Actually.
we'd be the slowest,
But I'd love to-
slowest back four
I'd
of
love
ever
to just
of
go
all
back
time.
there, Matt.
Well, but what I was going to say is just like going through that, like with your back four, you've kind of got these little principles of your back four, your back three, your however you're doing it, and so. Justin, like if we had a back four, we would have our own principles, whatever those would be for our team, and it just seems like right here, no principles.
So I'm trying to figure out where the wing backs are. Okay, so
Right.
in a 3-5-2, I believe.
Well, it looks like
I think they're playing
Looks like
4.
They
Did
go.
so Matt,
playing forward,
Matt,
Butchie.
So,
Look at this.
So hang on a sec,
They are
Matt.
playing
How did the game start? I wasn't at the game, so I can't reference that. Was it a back 3 or was it 4?
Well, clearly they have 4 there, right?
Yeah, it's 4.
So regardless of how they're playing, they got 4 there. And so to
It's
me,
like it's like a weird 4-4-2.
So obviously
4-3-3.
Lincoln are going for it right now.
right? I mean,
Okay,
I
so
think
pushing players forward, right?
I think here's the problem, right? Look at the 3 that challenge for the ball here. You don't need those 3.
And,
also
and one of
bad.
them is a centre back.
Exactly. The center back who comes forward to challenge the ball doesn't need to here.
Stay
He
home.
should have dropped off.
And the other centre back should have dropped off.
Exactly. All of them should have. The principle is no pressure on the ball, you drop off, right?
Left centre back,
That's a good principle.
left back watching, right back watching, got caught, should have been a goal. Dowling came out lucky.
Yep.
Well, and then there's like the like one up, one back, like right. So if I'm gonna go
Pressure
win the-
cover.
Can we show this real quick?
If Matt's
look at,
gonna go win a ball, then Forster, you're gonna drop off to cover him.
look
right?
at Joe,
Same
look
with
at
me
Joe
you.
and Quinlan
10
just
years ago, I
embracing on the
would've.
side.
Yeah, I'm not covering you now.
Like they've got hands on their head. They know that's
just trust.
Look at them. They know that was the one. For
I mean,
them to,
So
It's
like
a
we should
hard
move on
call.
from this
It's
because
a
we could
hard
talk
call.
about it all
It's a
night.
hard call anyway because it's a split second and how close is it?
Header one,
yeah.
ball right back. You're looking at the ball. You're trying to figure out when the ball is played. So the Liono's looking in the middle of the field. He's also got to look across the field.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. It's like it's tough. Very tough.
And so it comes on both sides of the ball and from the middle as well. But I think for whichever coach you are, if you're Joe, if you're Jack Teeling, like it's just kind of one of those like little things make big things. So like, can you figure out how to like get your back four sorted out, Dowling, or like Lincoln on the other side? How can you take advantage of those opportunities more often?
I think with John Firth not playing,
It makes a difference.
you've got to go to a back four. Siebes, would you agree?
I think they play a back four though, even with
They
him.
started with three.
Did they?
They did, yep.
Okay.
3-5-2.
So here's what I would say is like look how close that is. And again,
Forster,
I bring
right.
this back to the red card rule, right? Like show me where the malice is in this game from either side to have like been even close to ending a season. This was a really, really good game and a good contested match. We had some good, hard fouls and stuff. But I just like shake my head at the fact that somebody could have lost their season over this game. Anyway, that's just where my head goes and all that. I mean, everyone's making close calls. Everyone's making mistakes. The players are making mistakes. Referees are making mistakes. And so I just don't understand why this rule sort of gets in the way.
We all
Well-
make mistakes. It's part of the game, isn't it? It's how we bounce back from
It's
it.
part of life, Justin. So
I am gonna. So if anyone's watching the pod and is a fellow coach in high school, I do want to address the red card rule after the season.
Yeah,
I do
think
because I know not saying that not trying to be critical, but I think last year
Well, it could just
I
be
would have
adjusted.
thought
It could be adjusted.
Yeah,
the intent is correct. There's like no, you don't want fights. You don't
right
want
as an
excessive red
observer
cards.
last year. I would have thought that a coach would have said after what happened to Matt Harding's team that they would have addressed that. I know we've received one red card this year, and so I mean I would like to put
What
it
was it for
forward
you?
with 2 yellow cards. So, but I would just like to put it forward because I just think it changes things. So, and look at how much of the pot we spent on the red card rule now, as opposed to talking.
Well,
about the
speaking
game.
of time spent on the pod, let's move to the next thing, and let's just quick talk about rankings. We're quarter of the way through May. We're basically sub-states a week and a half away. I mean, sub-state pairings come out when? Monday? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow's definitely Sunday.
It's Mother's Day tomorrow, actually.
Sorry,
You guys
yeah, Sunday,
sort the wives
Monday.
out, boys? Yeah.
So yeah, bracket. Here we go. We'll get back on subject. So that game featured number 10 Lincoln at number 5 Dowling. Top of the rankings, you got Valley number 1, Roosevelt number 2, Ames number 3. Johnston just lost to Valley on the weekend
Weird.
or on Friday 2-0. Then at 4.
Hey, Jimmy.
And then you got City High, Pleasant Valley, some East Side flavor at 6 and 7, and the Ankeny Hawks at 8. And I don't even know, Ben, how you? I mean, power rankings from Bound are completely different. So,
Well, you
where
didn't
wanna
even
go?
throw in Prairie at 9,
A Prairie in
Lincoln
there
at
as
10.
well? A Prairie, in
Prairie.
there?
Well, Prairie's at they're outside the state tournament quote numbers right now. They're
Yeah.
9.
Well, and so this is sort of the
I don't know
intriguing
what you
piece.
do.
Like, we're going to find out.
Credit to Kurt Lewis, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
I thought he's beat most people.
He's
hasn't
beaten
he?
most of them, hasn't he? Yeah.
He's done well this year.
Who are the Who are the people that rank these teams?
Well, Prairie. I mean, I saw.
we know?
I mean, you guys. We say this. Prairie is 9 and 3. So
Yep.
here you go. Like, if you guys want to get into it.
Yeah, who are they
Look
lost
at the
to? Who are they
results.
lost to?
So
Just
they
wanna
lost
know.
to Valley.
Okay.
Score?
Weird.
They beat Northwest.
Yep.
Okay.
They beat Dowling. But then they lost to City High.
City High's on it. They're good
who
right
else-
now. They're
who
like
else have they
number
beaten?
3, 4, 5. Something
Oh,
like
they
that.
just beat something like Linmar.
And then number 9.
Kennedy.
What's Iowa City High in that? They're in the bound rankings. They're up there.
City High bound rankings, they're number 6. Sorry.
And they drew.
Sorry.
Ankeny
The
today.
human rankings, they're number 6, Ben.
Yep. Bound rankings.
Bound rankings are number 3. Power
Okay,
rankings.
and they drew with Ankeny today, 1-1.
Can someone here explain how they?
I think it's I'll stick up for the voters for the high school association.
Okay.
It is this year in the biggest class a
Yeah, how do you-
complete mess.
Yeah.
Everybody's beating everybody other than Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody there's so much parity. There's so like I feel bad for them because Valley lost their first game of the year to Ames, 1-0.
Haven't lost.
They haven't lost since. They literally have, or
Figuratively, they have not lost since.
legitimately. That's the word I was looking for.
Chat GPT
Yeah,
there to help them out.
they've rattled
Thank you.
off 13 wins in a row.
15.
Okay, but sorry against.
But
four
how do they?
schools, but, yeah.
How do they base what do they base the rankings off? How does it work? See, but
Watching,
you know more
yeah,
than-
humans watching games, but
watching games, so wins, losses.
Yep.
So okay,
seeing the
so
quality, right?
if you go through all the wins and losses, do Prairie deserve to be in 9th? If you look at it,
Could be higher.
I'm just
Strength
checking.
of schedule's in there.
So it's who they play against.
Yep.
So if Liverpool play against Ipswich Town and Ipswich win, does it affect them?
I think the other piece is they're looking for humans to help join the committee, but I don't know. I
don't
understand what you're
know.
saying.
I'm
You're
just-
trying to
I'm
figure out,
just-
literally
I'm
trying
just-
to figure
I'm
out.
ju-
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just throwing it out there.
So
I'm
they're
not-
looking at who
I'm-
they play, how good the teams they play are,
Okay.
and I think the score lines as well.
Okay.
All right, I'll wrap it up here. So we got Substates coming out this next couple days, and keep staying tuned to the Kick It Forward Soccer Talk podcast. Like us, subscribe on YouTube. What else, Ben? Anything else?
I like it when you're abrupt. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys. Appreciate it.
Forrester, we love you.